Hi everyone, my name is Jubilee and I serve as a part of the SHPEP National Alumni Advisory Board, and I'm here to talk to you today about my non-traditional path into medicine. So there may be a multitude of reasons why someone may choose not to go directly into medical school. An example of that is someone may choose that they may want to take a little bit more time to get through all of their pre-med prerequisite courses, such as general chemistry, general biology, physics, biochemistry, etc. And so they may decide that it may be better for them to go through those courses a little bit more slowly. They may need to finish those courses after graduation, and so they may not choose to go directly into medicine. For me, my story is a little bit different. So, a little bit more about me. I got my Bachelor of Science in Global Health from the University of Southern California in spring of 2020. So, that was right when the pandemic was sort of taking a grip over our world at that period of time. And so for me, I actually had decided pretty early on in my pre-med journey that I was going to take at least one gap year, potentially two or more, before applying to medical school. And that was mostly because I had decided that I needed time to be able to really study and take the MCAT. And I didn't feel like I had the time while I was an undergrad to really take the time to study for that test. Even though I had summers, I was usually using it doing internships, such as SHPEP. And so I had decided pretty early on that I was going to take at least a gap year. But what ended up happening was that in my last year of college, so as a senior, I ended up having a check-in meeting with one of my global health professors. And she had advised me that if I was really interested in spending some time doing some work in global health, while either before medical school, after medical school, etc., in order to get that experience, the perfect place to really learn about global health is in Geneva, Switzerland. And that's because you have organizations like the World Health Organization, the United Nations, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and other really large global health actors are centrally located in Geneva. And she had advised me that if I really wanted to pursue a career in global health, that spending some time working in one of these organizations would be a really great way to get started. And the best way to do it is if you're really already present in Geneva. And of course, if you're pursuing a master's degree or some sort of education, you're going to already be present in that country. And so she had advised me to look into the Graduate Institute of International and Development Studies, which is where she actually did her PhD. And she had advised me to apply and just to keep my doors open and apply to the master's program there and see if it would be something I would be interested in. And so I ended up doing my research and I decided that I might as well just at least apply to the school while I was still looking for jobs that I was planning on potentially doing once I finished my degree at USC. So I ended up getting into the Graduate Institute of Geneva, which was really, really exciting for me. And this is around June of 2020. So the pandemic had not just started, but it had pretty much just begun. And I decided to really take my time to think about what I really wanted for myself. And I decided that it was worth exploring a little bit more what I had begun to study in undergrad, which was global health, and really try to get a better understanding of how are health policies made on the global level. What does it mean for one city to have so much control over global health policies? And what does that mean for the health of people who are affected by these decisions all over the world? And so I decided in October of 2020 to move to Geneva, Switzerland in the middle of a pandemic to pursue my master's in international affairs, specializing in global health and global security. And so I'm almost done now. I have one more semester, just my dissertation left before I finish. But there's been so many things that I've taken away from my experience moving to Switzerland and pursuing this degree. One of them is moving to Switzerland in the middle of a pandemic and learning a lot about myself and in that process. But in terms of my education, there's been a wealth of understanding and knowledge that I've been able to take away. One of them is been forced to, for my classes, to make so many different types of policy briefs, which really exposed me to how policies are written, the type of research that you need to do, the way that you need to portray that information, and things like that. So that's been one thing. Two, I've been able to take classes in all different types of spectrums. So I've taken courses in like global health governance, but I also took classes in reproductive politics. I've taken classes in migration studies. I've taken classes as recently as I just took a class on violence, memory, and history in 20th century Africa. And for me, my particular interest in global health really is related to African women and children's health. This is really where like the crux of my interest really lies. And so for me, it's been really amazing to listen to and learn from professionals who have really been committing their lives to this type of work. Either some of my professors have been physicians who used to work in West Africa, who are now transitioned into the policy side. Some of them have only worked in policy and academia, but have worked with people all over the world. And so it's been such a unique experience to be able to learn from these professionals. And so, and one of the really cool things about my program that I've been able to do was for my capstone project, I was actually allowed to partner with the OHCHR, which is the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights in Geneva. And we, along with three of my other colleagues, developed a report, but my specific section was to discuss vaccine equity. And I'm not sure if everyone has been paying attention to vaccine access around the world in terms of this COVID-19 pandemic, but access to vaccines has been the furthest thing from equitable. About 3% of the entire continent of Africa has received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while we're in the United States getting boosters. So for me, it was really important to be able to write about this and for our report to be published, for me to present my work at the UN, to have questions, to have to come up with answers. It was such a huge learning experience, and it's such a unique thing to be able to say that I was able to do this report with this reputable organization, and for me to really challenge myself to produce like a really nice body of work. And so I guess for me, what I'm trying to say is going to Geneva was definitely the right step for me. And I think I'm a huge advocate for people taking the time to really think about what matters most to them and doing what works best for them. Everyone's path to medicine or the health professions is so special, so unique. And if you decide that you needed to take a gap year for science classes, if you need to take it to work, etc., do what you need to do for yourself. And I think that you'll be more content entering medical school once you do that. And I know for me, I wouldn't take my experience in Geneva back for the world. It's been one of the most amazing things that I've gotten to experience. And I do look forward to applying to medical school in the 2023 application cycle. But I think I needed to do this for myself and for me to really delve into my interest in global health a little bit before I pursued my career in medicine. So I hope that helps you if you are considering taking a gap year or 2 or 3. And that's all for now. Thank you. Talk soon.